Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. We got a little chatty dip with me happening here today. I have several different colors here from Ritzy Dips, and I was feeling like doing a little spring Skittles mani, so I'm going to have a few different pastel colors that I'm going to dress up with some polka dots and a matte top coat. And while we do all that, I'm going to share with you a few of my thoughts on ambassadorships. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around, we're getting into it. Okay, so these are the colors that I have chosen out from my Ritzy Dips collection, and I do have the Pastel Neons collection, but I kind of wanted to take this in a slightly different direction, so that's why we've got this hodgepodge of colors here. So these are the ones we're going to be using today for the mani, and I wanted to point out, in case you were looking at my nails wondering what is going on here, I did do a little bit of a shape and length change. Believe me, this is going to be around for about 5 minutes. I just really wanted to try out the shape because I've seen a lot of amazing European nail artists use this shape, and I thought it looked pretty cool, so I figured I would give it a go. But I wanted to do it at a time when I was going to be off work for a little bit because I definitely cannot type with this length, and I would not even try. So it's just something fun that's going to happen here for a minute, but this shape is not going to last very long, especially with this length. I guess I'm calling this like a long oval shape, and I do think it's pretty, and I actually think it looks better in person than it's coming across in photos. But anyway, like I said, don't get used to it. It won't be here for very long. Alright, so we're going to put Lucy on the thumb, Kitten's nose on the pointer, Wisteria on the middle, and then Frozen on the ring, and then Tiffany on the pinky. And then we're going to cover them all with some polka dots and a matte top coat. I think it's just going to make a really cute spring look. Alright, so as you can see, I've got an array of cupcake liners laying out. That's because there is no way on earth that I'm even going to attempt to dip these long nails into a jar. It's just not going to work. So instead, I have a liner for each color. I will be pouring over each color into a separate liner. That way I don't contaminate the color, and I can put the rest back in the jar when I'm done. So I feel like this mani is pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to be really talking you through it, plus you can see it. So I'm going to be using this opportunity to chat a little bit with you about some things that I have learned and just some things that I have personally felt about ambassadorships. Just I thought we might get a conversation going since I've been seeing talk about ambassadorships coming up quite a bit lately. So the first thing I want to say about ambassadorships is they're a great way to connect with brands that you already know and love and use. And they can be mutually beneficial because they can help you get some exposure to some audience members that may not be following you. And they can also obviously be beneficial to the brand because you are showing colors that they are selling in the hopes that perhaps somebody will see those colors on you and want to purchase them themselves. When you're first starting out with dip nails, or any nail art for that matter, if you're looking for an ambassadorship, you really want to first start focusing on your craft. Just don't get in a hurry to start looking for ambassadorships. Just start off by really improving your technique and keep working at it until you're to a point to where you're really proud of them and feel like you're ready to seek those ambassadorships. So just, I guess my first piece of advice there would be don't get in a hurry. There's going to be plenty of time later for you to find ambassadorships if you're really interested in them. When you are ready to start looking for ambassadorships, there's a couple of things that I want you to consider, and first and foremost, that is this. What is reasonable and what is fair in an ambassadorship is completely up to you. I really would discourage you from letting anybody convince you what is right for an ambassadorship. Only you can figure that out because it's really going to depend on what your priorities are, what your motives are, what you feel you can work with, and nobody really is going to have insight into that better than you. So please don't get caught up in that this is how you should do it, this is what you should be doing. That's really up to you to decide. So I'm going to give you some advice based on what is important to me and what my priorities are. But I'm not telling you that that's what you should do. That's going to be completely up to you, and really nobody else needs to have any input into that but you. So you want to kind of consider what your priorities are. Are you in this ambassador search to try to make money? Are you hoping to eventually make this your primary source of income? Or are you just doing this as a hobbyist? And how you search for ambassadorships and what you're willing to accept for ambassadorships will definitely be based on those priorities. Me, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not looking to make this my primary source of income. Mostly for the fact that, you know, my job pays a pretty decent salary, and I think it would be pretty far-fetched for me to get to a point to where I would make that kind of money just doing this for a living. Maybe ideally in my head that would be nice, but it's just not something that's going to be very realistic, at least for me. But that's just me. That may not be you. So that's going to depend, like I said, on what your priorities are. Where are you trying to take this? Now, I would definitely like to hit 1,000 subscribers. Hint, hint, if you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe. We're getting so close to 1,000, and once I get to 1,000, I can actually get monetized. And hopefully, over time, I will begin getting enough little money back from the AdSense that I will be able to support this channel a little bit better, because, you know, I do buy a lot of products that I use on this channel, and it would be nice to get a little financial support back from this channel to be able to put back into it. So I'm not looking to get rich or anything like that or make money. It's not like that. I'm just trying to kind of reimburse myself for the items that I purchase for this channel. That's all. But obviously, if you are looking to make ambassadorships or sponsorships your primary source of income, then you're going to need to head in a completely different direction. And what may be acceptable to you for an ambassadorship may not be the same as me, and that's okay. So the big question seems to be what is reasonable and what is fair. And again, that's going to depend largely on what you think is reasonable, what you think is fair. So let me give you an example. I have currently two ambassadorships, and both of those ambassadorships are from companies that I really enjoy using their products. And they are companies that if I was not an ambassador, I would be purchasing products from regardless. So for me, that is a mutually beneficial arrangement. They get benefit from me using their products and really doing free advertising for them, but I'm benefiting because I'm not having to spend money on the products that I'm using, and I would have purchased them with funds out of my own pocket. So, you know, is that compensation? No, maybe not, but it's an agreement where it seems to work for both of us because we are both gaining something from that relationship. Now, that said, there are a couple occasions where I have stepped down from an ambassadorship. One was because at the time I had a lot going on in my personal life, and it was making things very difficult for me to keep up with my commitments, and I kind of felt bad, like I wasn't doing everything justice. So, you know, at the time I just decided to step down, and it was a good parting. We left on good terms. The other one, without getting to any specifics, some things had happened that left me feeling a little unhappy. And because of that, the events that had happened, I no longer felt like it was mutually beneficial. Honestly, I kind of felt like I had been a little bit used. And I don't necessarily think that that was the intent, but that's just how I felt. And at that point, it no longer felt mutually beneficial, and I was a little unhappy. And so at that point, I decided to step down. So, you know, don't feel like if you're unhappy with your situation that you have no recourse. I mean, it's up to you. If you're not happy and it's no longer mutually beneficial, then, you know, you need to step down and move on to something better. As far as what the brand is asking from you, you know, if they're asking for 3 to 4 manis a month, or they're asking for 1 to 2 manis a month, what is reasonable there is what you can keep up with. You know, if they're giving you a fair amount of product and they're asking for quite a bit from you, but you think that with your lifestyle and your desires to do your manis that you can keep up with that, then by all means. Again, nobody should be telling you whether that's reasonable or unreasonable. That's for you to decide. Whether or not there is actual financial compensation involved is also up to you. If you are okay with just accepting free product to do your manis and that's good enough for you, then do that. If you believe that you need to be financially compensated on top of the free product, then again, that's up to you. And you will need to figure out how you want to approach brands in that way. I will say that with small businesses, I do not believe many of them have financial compensation for ambassadors in the budget. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I don't own a brand. I don't know any brand owners as like besties, so I can't 100% confirm that. But that's just my understanding that most of them do not have that in their budget. So if you are wanting payment, you might have better luck seeking out larger brands, so more national or international brands that have the nail products that you're wanting to use. You might have better luck with financial compensation with them, but nothing's stopping you from trying that with small businesses. I'm just letting you know that I think that that's going to be an uphill battle. Just a side note, be careful with taking on too much. If you take on too many ambassadorships, you're going to end up getting caught up too much in the manis that you have to do instead of doing the ones that you want to do. So for example, this mani right here, this is not an ambassador mani. This is just me playing with some ritzy dips, doing a little color story that I wanted to do and a design that I wanted to do. Now, if I was too busy with ambassadorships and couldn't do this, then I would have to do those instead of this. So sometimes you're really inspired to do something and you want to do it, and that's all I'm saying is just, don't get to a point to where you have so many commitments that you're no longer enjoying it. Now, let's say you're to a point to where you feel like you've done pretty well with your craft. You're looking to branch out into ambassadorships, but you're not sure how to go about getting them. Well, there's a couple things to keep in mind here. The first thing, and this is some very serious advice I would give you, is please don't go seeking ambassadorships from brands that you have not tried. You really don't want to do that to the brand, but you especially don't want to do that to yourself, because you may not even like the company's products, and here you are trying to get in on their team, and then God forbid they actually take you on, you're stumping for products that you may not even like. So use a company's products for a few times at least, at a minimum. Get comfortable with them, get to a point to where you know how you feel about them, and decide, is this somebody I would like to represent? Think about what you've seen as far as the brand's presence on social media, how they deal with their customer service, the good and the bad. Consider all those things before you decide if you really want to be a part of that team. If you do, then I would start following them on social media and start looking for opportunities for ambassadorships, because a lot of these companies will say, hey, we're currently looking for ambassadors. Send your applications here, and then collect your best photos of you wearing their products and, put your hat in the ring. Sometimes too, just by using a brand's products a lot and tagging them a lot on social media, you might get their attention that way, and they're like, hey, I've seen this person make some really nice manis and they've used my products quite a bit. I think I'd like to see if they'd be willing to be one of my ambassadors. So, those are two great ways to get opportunities. But let's say that neither of those things are happening, but you're still very interested in joining their team and you think you'd be an asset for them. Well, there's no reason you can't reach out to the brand and ask them. Just tell them, look, I'm somebody who's very excited about your products. I love them. I would love to join your team. Is there any chance you're looking for any ambassadors right now? There is absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. And yes, I have done that myself. Now, to some of you that may sound a little ick, but let me put it to you this way. Likely the brand is following quite a few people that have tagged their products in their posts. So they may have amassed several hundred, several thousand individuals in their head that have done manis with their products, and it's hard for you to stand out in such a large group. And it may be hard for the brand owner to remember some people, that I can definitely see that. So say you do reach out to them, and maybe they're not looking for ambassadors right now, but you got yourself in their mind, and when they are ready to add another ambassador to their team, they might think of you because you put your name for it and they were already thinking about it. Now, try not to go overboard with it and go around to every company whose products you've ever used and be sending them DMs. Maybe narrow it down to 2 or 3 that you are really passionate about and really have a love for, and DM them and see what happens. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is they could say no, and that you haven't lost anything. You haven't. All right, so we're going to wrap up this conversation, but I did want to jump back in here for a minute and show you that I have filed and buffed these, and they are looking nice and pretty. I'm loving these colors and laughing a little bit about the fact that they kind of match this box. But I want to tell you a little bit about what's in this box here before I get to finishing up the mani. I did pick up this little kit off Amazon. This is from Savaland, and I believe that's how you say that. I'm really not quite sure. But the reason I picked this kit up is because you guys know I love my line art gels. And I really do use them almost every time for nail art. But they are really more gel polishes, maybe slightly thicker, slightly more pigmented, but they're still gel polishes. These, however, are actually gel paints. So these are really truly what I'm talking about when I say gel paints. These are a little thicker, these are a little more pigmented than your standard gels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my polka dots on these nails, but I'm going to use a gel from this gel paint from this kit. I'm just going to try it out. I literally have not tried these at all. I just picked this kit up off Amazon, so I have no idea how this is going to go, but we're going to find out together. And by the way, if you are interested in this after you've seen this, I will have it linked down below. But inside this kit, you get this nice little set of a great variety of brushes here. And yeah, these are a little bit lower quality brushes, but you know, for something you're only going to be using once in a while, it might be enough for what you need. And then inside you have a total of, well, we got 12 gels. One of them is actually an eggshell top coat, this one here. So it's really designed to give that kind of speckled egg nail look, but it's suspended in gel instead of in dip powder. And then the rest of these are all paints. So the colors kind of tell you what's inside. So we've got pretty much a rainbow of colors here, and then we have a gold, a silver, and a white and a black. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this white one out, and I'm going to show you kind of the texture of it, and then we're going to end up actually using this one for the polka dots. So typically true gel paints will come in a pot form like this with this foil lid on it, and then you will just, what I like to do is only open up a little tiny portion of it. I don't like to take the whole lid off, but that's just me. You know, I think most people probably take the whole thing off, but I like just a little tiny hole so I can kind of use the lid to kind of help me out. So I think you can kind of see here how much thicker in texture that this is and how it really kind of holds its shape. And so this makes it ideal for a lot of kinds of artwork, because keep in mind that gel is very good at self-leveling regular gel. So when you start to paint art with it, it wants to kind of spread out and level out. And this is not going to do that. So you don't have to worry so much about flash curing as much or about spreading out. It's kind of a cool product. Now, painting dots is probably not the best test of how well these paints are going to work. I will be back to do more gels with these. Actually, I have a few manis planned out coming up where I will be using these gel paints to do some more artwork, so you can kind of get a sense of how much thicker and much sturdier they are. But you'll notice that as I paint the dots on all these nails, I actually do not do any flash curing. I just do one nail at a time, because I just find that it just holds up so well and doesn't really spread, so I don't really have to worry about that. So as you can see, I'm just applying my gel base coat right now. I'm using my IGel. As much as I wanted to use the West Coast again, I knew I was going to do matte nails, so I decided to go with my IGel base because I knew I was going to use my IGel matte top coat. Alright, so while we place the dots here, I'm going to go ahead and get into my final thoughts. And I guess what I would say is overall most important is communication. And I seriously doubt I have any brand owners watching, but if I do on chance, it's really important that you communicate with your team anytime there's going to be changes. So, you know, you give them a chance to have that discussion with you. And of course, you're the owner and you can run your business however you see fit, and nobody should be telling you how to do that either. But it's really important that you respect that relationship and make sure that you communicate properly with your team members, let them know what's going on. And, you know, as hard as it can be, try not to play favorites, because that really is hurtful to the people who may not be your favorite. So on that note, I did try to share my thoughts with you without being offensive. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't want to be, you know, unprofessional. And I really hate drama, guys. I mean, I hate it so much. I will avoid it like the plague, and so I almost feel like I'm kind of towing the line with drama here, and I'm not trying to do that at all. And if I have said anything that has offended you in any way, no matter who you are, whether you're an ambassador or a brand owner, then I apologize, because that's certainly not my intent. But I feel like there's a lot of discussion about the way things should go, and I guess I just wanted to put my voice out there and say that really is your decision to make. And regardless of what I say or anybody else says, it's completely up to you what you feel is acceptable. And I guess that's all I really wanted to say overall. And I wanted to leave a final thought for those who may be seeking ambassadorships and you're just not having any luck. I've been there before. I've had a few brands that I've really connected with in the past and really wanted to work with them and asked, and it didn't work out. And, you know, I'm not going to say that doesn't suck a little bit. The feelings get a little hurt. I understand. But I guess when those times happened to me, that's when I really went back and focused on the things I can control. So I can't control what a brand owner chooses to do or who they choose to accept as their ambassador. But what I can control is improving my craft, improving my photos, making more reels, you know, focusing on improving my techniques, and then the rest will kind of follow. And, you know, I feel like personally I've come a long way since I started my dip powder journey, and I feel like, you know, maybe I have more pull when it comes to things like that. And it's funny because now that I feel like I may have a bit more of a presence than I used to have, I'm actually less interested in ambassadorships. I'm actually good with 2. There's actually one more I am hoping to add at some point if that works out. But other than that, I have no interest in taking on any other ambassadorships right now. I really just want to play with the dip powder companies dips that I have already been enjoying and loving and just having fun with it. And I just don't want to focus so much on ambassadorships anymore. And I hope that doesn't come across as being ungrateful for the ones that I do have, because I love, love, love the companies I work with completely with my whole heart, and I'm so grateful that I get to work with those teams, and I really connect with the other ambassadors too, and I love them too. It's been a lot of fun, so please don't take it that way. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunities I do have, but at this point, my focus is really just more on making beautiful manis and having fun with it and trying new things like these big old oval nails. So, I guess that's what I would say if you're somebody who's striking out. I know it can be hard and it feels kind of rejection-like, but don't take it that way. Just go back to the drawing board and go back to having fun with your nails, and I really do believe the rest will follow. Oh, you guys, I'm so obsessed with these colors with the dots and matte. I don't know what it is. I have always loved polka dots. Polka dots and flowers. Give me all the polka dots and flowers for spring. All right, so it is time for some cuticle oil because these cuticles are dry. So I have an exciting announcement with the cuticle oil. Yay! There's a sale coming to Scales of a Mermaid. So let me pull out my Sweet Cravings, which is one of the first cuticle oils I bought, and I love it. It smells just like cake, and you know me, I love the smell of baked goods in my cuticle oils. I don't know what that's about. Maybe because I have a sweet tooth, who knows? So this sale is starting April 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it is going to be 15% off pretty much the whole shop. There are a few little exclusions like the new releases, but otherwise everything will be 15% off. And the amazing news is you will be able to use discount codes on top of it, so ambassador codes. So you actually don't need a discount code for the sale, and you'll be able to use the ambassador discount code on top of that. So you'll get your 15% with the sale plus 10% with the code. So I am their monthly ambassador through April 22nd, so you can use my code during the sale, and it is Carrie10. And guys, that is an amazing deal because let me tell you, they are worth every penny full price. So to get them with the 15% plus the 10% on top, that is a steal. And honestly, there is nothing that I would not recommend to you. I'd say get it all. Get it all while you can. If you didn't hear me gushing about Scales of a Mermaid on my last video with Chloe's Mani, then make sure you go back and listen to the very end of the video because I'd shared some things that the owner had spoken to me about that really impressed me, and I cannot tell you how much I love this business. I think it's an incredible business. I love the way the owner conducts herself and her business. The packaging is 12 out of 10. I mean, I'm really happy to be representing them for this month, and I just think you will love, love, love their products. The scents are incredible, and I will definitely be shopping during the sale myself, don't get me wrong. So I hope you guys enjoyed this chatty dip with me. I really just wanted to get some thoughts out there for those of you who may be seeking ambassadorships or you're new to ambassadorships and just wondering how things work. So I do hope you found it helpful, but of course, if you have any other questions or, input that you want to give, then feel free to leave it down below. I just ask you be respectful in the comments and definitely keep brand names out of it. It's okay to have these discussions, guys. The discussion itself is not dramatic. I just don't want to pull any drama into it. This is a happy place, and I feel that the nail community in general should be a happy place, and I just don't want to bring that kind of negativity into it. But having questions, having a discussion is totally acceptable. All right, guys, so I appreciate you being here so much, as always. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.